Hey everybody, thank you for your order. I'm going to do this video about how to do your highlight and contouring with your 30-second hack brush. So I'll be sending you this if this is the brush you got. First off, if you got the Stay Spray, I always recommend the one with SPF, but that's kind of a personal preference. I think anyone I recommend should have gotten this one if they ordered one. So I just like to shake it up a little bit and then spray it on my blender ball. And if you don't have a blender ball, I do about 3-4 sprays. You can spray that directly on your face. It'll feel slightly wet. I did notice that the new nozzle on the spray is way better at misting your face than kind of a wet stream like the last one. So if you've just ordered within the last couple weeks or so, I'm making this video on September 7th, then you probably will like the feel of this a little better. It mists a little bit better. It still feels wet, but I do like it better. So if you don't have a blender ball, just go ahead and spray it directly on your face. Then after you've done that, you can wait for it to dry a little bit, but especially if you do it the blender ball way, it's pretty much ready to go. So when you get your little hack stack, or quad, I guess I should say, I like to put my colors in there from my darkest highlight to my lighter highlight, my contour, and then my Frenchie in here, but I know whatever blush you have, or illuminator. If you didn't get 2 highlight colors, then your illuminator, and I usually would probably put that on the end because that's something I do last. Okay, for the detail hack, or sorry, the 30-second hack, I'm going to use my finger and I'm just wiping this in the amber, and you want to make sure your hands are clean. Amber is my lighter color. And because I use my fingers in here, I definitely make sure that my fingers are clean, but I also about once a month in my personal one, and the one that I do makeovers on, I do it after every single makeover, but I wipe it out with just a little alcohol pad, just like ones from Walgreens or something. So I just take that little alcohol pad and I just wipe the top. It'll take off a little bit of product, but just barely, and it'll take off any bacteria from putting your hands right in the makeup. That's something to think about. So you're going to put your lighter color right on the tops of your cheeks, on your nose, and in the center of your forehead. And if you have 2 colors and you're just trying to match like a tan color, you're not trying to actually cover melasma, melasma or discoloration, you can just add it in just like this. So I'm putting the darker color, oops, that's the lighter color, on my jawline, where I have some discolorations, which is kind of commonplaces, like on my cheeks there. I'm going to do another video that goes into covering like a melasma or deeper skin pigmentation. So once you get the colors on where you need them, you're going to take this pointier end and blend that out. And I like to kind of swipe and then dab right in the under my eye. You want to be careful with your under eye skin. You don't want to stretch it out a ton. So be gentle. You don't have to push super duper hard. And if you feel like you're pressing really hard or wiping too much, hold back farther on the brush. You don't have to choke up on the bristles. So kind of hold back. And that should help with that. On your nose, if you have any blackheads or texture, just kind of swirl around there. And you can do that anywhere. Sometimes people, especially who have oily skin, have bigger pores in here. If you feel like when you're swiping, it's not getting in there very well, you can do that same kind of motion anywhere where you've got a little bit of texture going on. Okay. So once we've got that all blended out, and I like to put whatever's extra on my eyelids. If I'm going to be doing an eyeshadow look, you can go ahead and dab into your pan and put a little more highlight shade on your eyelids, and that'll just cover up any veins or anything like that. If you don't like the idea of putting your finger into your pan, you can just press, like dab lightly into the pan. You don't have to swipe or like really dig in to get a bunch of makeup. You just tap and then go in with that until your brush is empty. You'd be so surprised at how much coverage you can get with just a little bit. And if you put too much on, that's where you start to get in trouble of creasing or feeling like you're wearing a heavy face of makeup. It should not feel that way. So if you're feeling that, that's one troubleshooting way to go, is try and figure out if you're using too much product. If you're creasing under your eyes, that's a good sign you're using too much. Yeah, some things like that. And I can do a different troubleshooting video as well. So then for your contour, we're going to use this fatter side. And as you can see, I used this this morning too. But this is kind of fluffier and kind of rounded on the edges, but kind of oblong. So what I like to do with this when I'm going to start on my cheeks is I go into the pan. Let me see how to show you this. And I'm going to go on this side just like that. And I kind of go in a white wiggle motion, I guess. And you can see where I typically put it right in the same spot every time. So kind of wiggle it in there side to side. And then you can see how much I got. It's pretty dark, pretty pigmented. So then I press it in, going from about, that little inside part of your ear. I don't know the right term for it. And then down towards the corner of my mouth, in between the corner of my mouth and and my nostril. So you're just going to press in there. And because I used 2 highlights and I put some highlight there, I'm going to be careful not to go and wipe that away. And I know this looks scary, but I just want it to be pretty dramatic so you can see where I'm putting it and how it doesn't have to be perfect. You can go back in and fix it. Because especially when you're getting ready. And then, getting used to using it. I'm going to go on my temples. And same thing, I didn't really put any highlight shade there, so I don't have to be so worried about wiping any away. You can also put your contour color on first. I have a girl who's mentioned she really likes it that way better. So I can do another video to show you what that would look like too. Then I'm going to go right where that natural shadow starts. Since I have my ring light on, it's harder to see it. But when you lift your chin up, there's a natural shadow there. And you can see right where the tip of your chin goes under. So I'm just going to go there, not on my chin. I'm not trying to make a 5 o'clock shadow, but just right here. And these colors the contour colors don't really carry your coverage. So I'm pressing along under here. Right underneath my jawline. And then I kind of do a little swoop up because by the time I get back to my ear, your brush is pretty well cleaned off. But these contour colors don't have a ton of coverage, so it's okay to really blend it in down here. It's just going to add that little bit of shadow. If you put it on and you see a stripe of makeup, you need to blend it more, or maybe we have the wrong color for you. So if you feel like it's not creating shadow and creating depth, it's just looking like another layer of makeup, let me know because that could be a color issue. Okay, so I guess since we're on cheeks, so you can see where I've put those. After I've done under here and my cheeks, sometimes this brush kind of pushes all the bristles to one side. It's not doing it super dramatic right now, but you can see this side is kind of pushed out a little bit farther. This side's a little bit flattened from using it on my face, and it's pushed this side out to make a little more of a ridge there. So when that happens, I do that same kind of wiggle motion, and now I'm using a very light hand because I'm going to do a nose contour. And if this scares you and you're like, I don't want to be any part of that nose contouring, don't do it. Seriously. No one will notice. It will be totally fine. But this is just for if you're feeling adventurous or you're at home, you want to try it. With this brush, I normally recommend coming in from the front, and you can try it. You can do that. This is going to be kind of your anatomy and what's more comfortable for you. But I try to just go right using that ledge that I have my makeup on. I try to go right on top of my nose down to the tip. But you're not dragging this down. You do not want to put your contour color all the way down to your cheek. You only want it to be right here, right on the side, kind of top of your nose. And we're just using a really light hand. And I'll show you what really makes all the difference. The contouring is the scariest part because you're putting a dark color right in the center of your face. Then what you can do is kind of take this pointy your end and blend that up towards your eyebrow. The contour is the scary part because that's the part we're not used to doing, and then I like to put it on the tip underneath there. See how it kind of brightened up the tip of my nose already? So the scary part's putting the dark color. So now I'm just going to tap into my lighter highlight color, and I'm just going to clean up down the sides of my nose and onto my nostrils. You do not want contour on your nostrils. Maybe there's some rare cases where you would want some contour on your nostrils, but I don't know what those are, and none of you girls who I've given makeup to need that. So now I'm dabbing into my lighter color, and I'm making a fulcrum on my temple. So that means you're just going to rest your thumb on your temple because it steadies your hand. And then you're going to go from about right between your eyes and use a very light touch and go down the center of your nose in a straight line because that's what's going to draw the light and make your contour really pop. So I don't know if you can tell that or not, but we've contoured my nose and now it just looks nice and straight. That shadow doesn't, you can't really see that. If you turn, sometimes when I'm doing my nose contour, I'll look in the mirror, looks all great. I'll get in the car, turn down my mirror, and I'm like, oh, there's a line there. With cream, all you do is just dab it and blend it out. So that's nose contouring if that's something that you really want to do. And I can do another more in-depth nose contour video for the people who really want to get into the nose contouring. So now that my brush is pretty well clean, I'm going to blend this up. And you always blend up because you don't want to bring the color too far down towards your jawline. We want our jawlines to be highlighted because that's what's going to bring some dimension to your face. So is the contrast between your jawbone, your cheekbone, and the shadow that we've created. Since you don't have a lot of product on your brush at this point, you can just kind of lightly, and see how far down I'm holding on my brush, because I'm just really letting it work for me. And if you want to I'll do another, like I keep saying, more in-depth contour video where you're just gonna create little push-up bras, and you can use the side of your brush like I'm using here to get a little more detail. You can just go in on the side and then make a little Nike little swoosh there underneath your cheekbones. Okay, so now that we've got our highlight and our contour on, I like to go in with my blush. With this brush, since this end is very kind of fluffy like our blush brush is, you can just go right into your blush, and sometimes just for safety, I rub on my wrist to make sure all that contour color's off. So now I like to smile and put the blush right on the apples of your cheek, but not like right in the center, because that's going to get up into your highlight under your eye. So I just like to put it right where the belly of my cheek is, and you can really see it once you've contoured. So kind of smile and just under the belly and go back, kind of following your contour line just above a little bit. And I'll put a little more on than I normally would, just so it really shows up in the video. I apologize for how dark it's getting in my video already. My face is getting a little washed out. I waited too late in the day to probably be doing this. Okay, so there you go. You can see where my blush went, right on the bellies and up a little bit. Now you would do your illuminator if you have it. And I just like to rub my finger in that as well. And you're just going to pat that on your cheeks, on the tops here. And you can see how that kind of catches the light. You can really see on my nose. And then I like to put it on my Cupid's bow. I don't like to go too high up with this so you don't look like you got a little glistening upper lip there. But it just, yeah. Oh, and eyebrows. I kind of go under and on top just to give that kind of dimension. Okay, and there you go. That is your basic 3D foundation. Sorry, I keep messing with the light. It's just getting so dark. What I'm also going to show you is using your contour color as a lid shade, because I just think that looks so pretty on everybody, no matter what your contour color is. This is my contour color. It's indigo. I think everyone should have indigo, even if it's not their major contour color. It's so beautiful. It works so well for contouring your lip, which I'm just going to go in with the more pointed side. And I just got barely any. And I'm just going to put that right under my lip. and it just plumps it right up. Sometimes you can go on your top too. I don't so much do that, but I'll do a lip contouring video. But you can see it just makes it really nice and pouty. And then our cheek colors are lip colors as well. So like I said, I'm wearing Frenchie. And really makes my lips disappear. But if you want a real nude lip, I guess, if your skin tone's different, oh my gosh, that just disappeared my lips. Maybe I don't wear this one on my lips as much, as you can tell. It's not my super good shade on my lips, but I do love it on my cheeks. And then the eyelids. So I'm going to use my Detail Hack brush, the end of that, for my eyelids, but you could probably use this. It's just a little bit big, and if you don't have much lid space, might get a little bit in the way, but you could just use a regular eyeshadow brush as well. And I like, especially if I'm in a hurry, which is in most mornings, unless I'm doing a video or something, I just do a full sweep on my lids, and I think it just gives kind of like a natural contour to your lid. Looks like you did some eye stuff, got your life together, you did eyeshadow, and it just kind of pulls all the colors together for your face. The last thing I'll do is bronzer, just in case one of you guys got bronzer too. I like to use a big fluffy brush. Whatever big fluffy brush you have would be fine. This would be the best one though, obviously. I might put a little bit of this bronzer on my lips, just because I can't believe how much they disappeared, and it's kind of freaking me out. You can use any of these creams anywhere, which is nice. That helped a little bit. Still kind of like a nude, a nudie pink. Okay, that's a little better. But I'm just going to put that bronzer where the sun hits you. So that's going to be where, if you've been out in the sun and you get a little bit of color, a little bit of a sunburn, that's where you'll go. So tops of cheeks, tops of your forehead, your nose, and you're not pushing and like really wiping because you don't want to undo what we've done, but just kind of dab it on there. And now would be the time that you can do powder if you want to do powder. I don't powder unless I'm going to, I don't know, be out in the sun or really want the makeup to stay for a super long wear. Normally during the day, it works just fine once I've put that Stay Spray on afterwards. Or sorry, beforehand, not afterwards. We'll do that afterwards too. But I'm just tossing that powder in the lid here. If you're using the mascara powder, which is awesome, I just don't have it. I broke mine. I dropped it and broke it. Super sad day. But I'm just going to put it on my blender ball and swipe that and wipe that under my eyes. This is for those of you who don't really like that dewy look either. I put the powder only where I have a problem with it coming off. So I know one of my friends, she has more of a problem with her colors coming off here where she's got some pigment going on. So you can definitely just put it where you want it if you don't want to have a super matte look everywhere. Okay, I'm not going to do my eyes for this video just because I have a few more videos that I'm going to do tonight. But there you go. There is your 30-second hack brush highlight and contour video. If you wanted to go back in just to cover some blemishes, like I've got a couple blemishes, I don't mind when my freckles and even some hyperpigmentation from scars show through, because to me that's my skin, and I like the coverage that I have right now, so I would be done. But if you prefer to cover up all little spots, now would be a good time to go in. We have a good concealer brush. It's called the Detail Hack brush, or it's not the Detail Hack brush. It's a multitasker. It has this kind of flat side that's really good for lips, or it has this little teeny tiny side that's good for blemishes. This side's awesome for blemishes. It's one I use for blemishes mostly. This little side's really good for eyeliner. It's a multitask brush. So you would just dip that into either your darker or your lighter highlight, depending where the blemish is, and just tap it on. And then you can use your finger or your blender ball and just tap all around to blend it in. You don't want to blend it in too much because that's where your coverage is. And when you spot cover like that, that's what keeps your whole face from getting super like a heavy mask look of makeup. Okay, I feel like I got really long-winded, and I hopefully didn't get too off topic, but I hope this is really helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and then also put your stay spray on afterwards, and you can reapply this throughout the day if you're going to be out in the sun, which would be a really good idea. So I'm wiping this off, so I'm not going to do it right now, but just go down the side, down the front, and down the other side. You can also put this on your blender ball pen too. So many options. It's just really what works out best for you personally. And I know it's a little daunting at first, but I promise you're going to get the hang of it and you're going to love it. So yeah, you know how to get in touch with me, I hope. Oh, my battery's going down. And I just, yeah, really hope this was helpful. See you later.